Good evening, dear listeners. Welcome to tonight's Family Mediation Time. I'm your old friend, Whispering Life Stories. Tonight, we won't talk about grand theories, only real stories. Tonight, I want to share a special submission with you. It comes from a 31-year-old mother who was once a teenage mom, and now her 15-year-old daughter is pregnant. This story contains despair and struggle, but also unexpected turns and the light of human nature. Give me the time of a cup of tea, and let's walk into this journey together. I'm 31. I had my first daughter when I was 16. This year, she's about to turn 15. I'm a single mom with 3 kids. That day, she noticed her period was late. I brought home a pregnancy test, and it showed positive instantly. Dear listeners, can you imagine that moment? This mother wrote in her submission, "I felt like I was frozen. I don't know what to do now. I worked so hard to raise my kids so they wouldn't repeat my path. Where do I go from here?" She receives no child support, works night shifts, and earns $65,000 a year. She says her daughter is far from mature enough to raise a child, not even old enough to work. In her confusion, she asks, "What am I supposed to do?" At this point, let me ask you, have you ever had a moment like this? When you try everything to protect your child from the pain you once endured, only to realize that history seems to be repeating itself. That deep sense of helplessness feels like standing in a storm, holding an umbrella as tightly as you can, only to watch your child walk straight into the rain. The submission ends with an update. The mother says her daughter is now 2 weeks away from giving birth. During this time, they had many difficult conversations, not only between her and her daughter, but also with the baby's father and his family. The daughter decided to continue school from home. The baby's father did the same. Both are expected to graduate early. And most importantly, they received support. This single mother, who had no family of her own, was embraced by the boy's entire family, a close-knit, warm, surprisingly supportive family. Her boyfriend started working while continuing school. He didn't just do his share, he did more. He made sure to attend every prenatal checkup, while the daughter taught him how to do laundry. They attended parenting classes, read every blog they could find, asked endless questions, did research, worked, studied, and maintained their relationship at the same time. The mother wrote, "We are incredibly lucky to have them." His mom was also a teenage mother. "But these kids have completely surprised us. I know they still have a long, difficult road ahead, but they are handling it better than I ever imagined." Friends, this story moved me deeply. Let me share my thoughts from a few perspectives. 1. Redefining repeating the same mistakes. The mother's initial fear was that her daughter would follow the same path. But notice this: when the same event happens in a different system, the outcome can be completely different. When she was 16, she was likely alone and unsupported. But her daughter, though equally young, has a strong support system. A welcoming family from the boy's side, a boyfriend willing to work, study, and show up, and a mother who faces the situation instead of avoiding it. In psychology, there's a concept called intergenerational transmission. We tend to repeat patterns from our parents. But breaking the cycle doesn't mean avoiding the same events, it means changing the environment and resources with which we face them. This mother couldn't stop her daughter from getting pregnant, but she created a space where conversation, support, and shared responsibility were possible. That, in itself, is breaking the cycle. 1. The misunderstanding of maturity. We often say a 15-year-old isn't mature enough. And biologically, that's true. The prefrontal cortex is still developing. But maturity is not defined by age alone, it's shaped by responsibility and support. In this story, the young couple chose to study from home, graduate early, work, attend parenting classes. These actions show remarkable adaptability. They're not pretending to be adults. They are choosing growth in the face of crisis. I'm not saying teenage pregnancy is a good thing. But once something has happened, The question isn't, did they make a mistake? It's what did they do afterward? And these young people chose responsibility. That is more courageous than many adults. One doubt the power of a support system. What is the turning point of this story? The boy's family, a close, warm, accepting family. This mother wrote, "I'm a single mom. I have no family." She carried everything alone for years. But her daughter unexpectedly gained a family. Sometimes, life's gifts come in ugly packaging. A 15-year-old pregnancy may look like a disaster, but it created a bridge between two families, gave young people a chance to learn responsibility early, and showed this mother that she is not alone. 1. The illusion of the perfect parent. At first, the mother felt like she failed. She tried so hard to prevent this, and yet it still happened. But dear listeners, no parent can control their child's life. What we can do is teach them how to stand up when they fall, remind them they are loved when they make mistakes, and become someone they can rely on when they are afraid. This mother did exactly that. She didn't throw her daughter out. She didn't shame her. She brought home a test, had difficult conversations, and chose support. That is true education, not preventing all mistakes, but choosing love after mistakes happen. Friends, I want to offer a somewhat counterintuitive idea. Sometimes, the things we fear the most become catalysts for deeper family bonds. Before this, their relationship may have been shaped by warnings and fear-driven lessons. But after this event, they were forced into real, equal, adult-to-adult conversations. The daughter is no longer just a child, she is becoming a mother. The mother is no longer just an authority, she is a guide, a partner. This shift, though painful, creates a depth of connection many families never reach. I do not encourage teenage pregnancy, but I do believe that even wrong choices can become opportunities for growth when met with love and support. I also deeply admire the boy and his family. A 15-year-old boy choosing to work, study, and attend checkups, and his mother responding with understanding instead of shame. This is generational empathy. Western society often emphasizes individual responsibility. But this story reminds us that responsibility is never carried alone. It is supported by families and communities. Now, let me ask you, dear listener, have you ever experienced something that seemed like a disaster, but later revealed the best of human nature? Or have you ever blamed yourself because your child didn't live the life you expected? If you're willing, share your story in the comments. We don't need perfect lives, just honest ones. At the end of her submission, the mother wrote, "Thank you to all these beautiful strangers for taking the time to listen and for giving your time. Even in despair, she is grateful." That is a mother always giving, always thanking, always enduring. Second story, a young pregnant woman named Susan was told her progesterone levels were low. She was terrified. She had already experienced one miscarriage. The doctor reassured her, "This treatment is very safe. It's simply supplementing a hormone your body lacks to help sustain the pregnancy." Susan received weekly injections. She remembered the sharp pain of the needle entering her body, but more than that, she remembered the hope. She wanted to bring this child safely into the world. In 1999, her daughter Emily was born, a healthy baby with a loud cry. Susan held her and wept. Emily grew up. She loved playing soccer and didn't like wearing dresses. Susan thought, "It's just a tomboy phase." In middle school, Emily brought home a best friend, a girl with short hair and a bright smile. Susan began to feel something was different. At 16, Emily cried and told her, "Mom, I like girls. I only like girls." That night, Susan couldn't sleep. It wasn't that she couldn't accept homosexuality. She lived in the 21st century. She knew it was normal. But a voice in her mind wouldn't go away. Was it the treatment during pregnancy? Did the hormones affect her? Did I change her? that voice hurt her more than any external discrimination, because it came from a mother's self-blame. Friends, I want to offer a perspective that might surprise you. The value of this research is not just in revealing a possible biological link, it gives us a new way to understand maternal love. What is maternal love? Traditionally, we see it as shaping. We hope our children grow into our expectations, healthy, successful, heterosexual, married, with children. But at a deeper level, maternal love is acceptance, accepting your child as they are, even when they go beyond your understanding. If a mother realizes that perhaps her own biology played a role in her child's orientation, it can be a strange form of comfort, because it means the child's identity is not from bad influences or external temptation, but from the most fundamental connection, the mother herself. Your child didn't become gay. They were always that way, formed, in part, within you. This identity, like their blood, their genes, their life, is something you gave. And that does not mean blame. It means there is no reason for blame. Because if it is part of biology, then it is like giving your child brown eyes, not a mistake, just diversity. Now, let me ask you, dear listener, have you ever blamed yourself for something different about your child? Maybe not their orientation, maybe their personality, their struggles, their interests you don't understand. Have you ever wondered, did I do something wrong, or are you the different child? How did your parents respond? Did they make you feel like your difference was wrong, or did they eventually embrace you fully? You're welcome to share your story in the comments. If you are a mother who received hormone treatment during pregnancy, I want to tell you this. You made your decision out of love and protection. There was nothing wrong with that. Your child today is the result of countless factors, and you are still the one who gave them life. That truth will never change. If you are a parent and your child tells you something that shocks you, take a deep breath. Remember, this is still the same child, the one you would protect with your life. Nothing about who they are changes the essence of your love. If you are a child wondering whether to tell your parents your truth, give them time. They may first feel shock, guilt, even rejection. But often, that comes from love so deep that they fear they did something wrong. Give them the chance to grow, just as they once gave you the chance. Finally, let me end tonight with one sentence. Science can explain how we become who we are, but only love can determine whether we accept ourselves and each other. Good night, dear you. May you meet your true self and true love in tonight's dreams.